Let's talk about some markup, and we're doing markup based on the cost of an item rather than the selling price in this lesson. So as we look at this example, it says Fiona's outlet buys carpenter jeans for $18.30 a pair. So that's how much the store buys them for. The outlet marks up each pair of jeans by $10. What is the markup rate based on the cost? And they want us to round to the nearest tenth of a percent. Okay, so here's our rule. To find the rate, you take the markup divided by the cost. Sometimes they will tell you the selling price and you'll have to find the markup, but for this question, they just said they mark it up by $10. So we are doing the markup, $10, divided by the cost. The cost to the store was $18.30. You go ahead and divide that. Again, when it's in this form, you put the top number in first, then hit the divide sign, and then put the bottom number. So you're doing 10 divided by 18.3, which gives me 0.54644. They wanted me to change that to a percent, so I move my decimal 2 places to the right, which now puts me at 54.644%. They wanted it rounded to the nearest tenth. The tenth is one number after the decimal, so we're cutting our answer off right here. 4 is smaller than 5, so I do not round up. I just stay at 54.6%. So these jeans had a markup of 54.6%. All right, here's another example. Callaway department store buys jackets for $16.25. That's what they buy it for. That's the cost. They sell them for $34.80 each. What is the markup rate based on cost? So we're trying to find the markup rate, and we have our formula up here. But notice so far we don't have all the information we need. We know the cost, but we don't know the markup. So we need to first find out, well, how much did they mark it up by? And again, the markup is equal to the selling price minus the cost. Okay, what they're selling it for, subtract the cost, that will give you your markup. Okay, so they're selling these for $34.80 a piece, but it only cost them $16.25. And again, the difference there is how much they marked it up by. And we get $18.55. That is our markup. Now we can find this markup rate that we were wanting. Okay, let me change colors. The markup rate, we take the markup, which we found was $18.55, divide by the cost. The cost of each jacket was $16.25. Be careful right there. Make sure you don't go back to the selling price. We're doing the markup based on the cost of the item this time. So we're doing $18.55 divided by $16.25. And we get 1.141538. Now notice we have, usually when we find percents, we just get a 0 in front. But some things are marked up so much they double the price. They do more than just a little bit of it. They do the full price plus a little more. That's the case here. Notice their cost was 16. They marked it up over 16, which is why we ended up with a 1 in front of that. When we change to a percent, we still have to change this to a percent. So again, we move the decimal 2 places to the right, and we get 114%. It didn't say what to round it to, so I am just assuming they wanted to the nearest percent on that one. All right, here's another example. Mike Albers works during the summer at his uncle's produce stand. Tomatoes are $1.45 a pound. That's their price when they're selling them. Mike's uncle estimates that his cost in producing and transporting the tomatoes is 75 cents a pound. What is the markup rate based on the cost? So again, here they give us the selling price. This is the selling price, and they give us the cost. To find the markup rate, we need to know what the markup is. So let's find our markup. Again, you take the selling price, $1.45, minus the cost. Whatever's left over, that's how much they added. That's the markup. So we take 1.45 minus 0.75 and we get 0.7. So these are marked up by 70 cents. Now when we go to find our markup rate, we use that formula up above. We take the markup, which was 70 cents, and divide by the cost. Again, do not take it divided by the selling price, okay? We know to use cost because it says the markup rate based on the cost and not the markup rate based on the selling price, okay? So you want to use the cost there. So we're going to take 0.7 divided by 0.75. And I get 0.93333. It goes on from there. We want to write that as a percent, so we move our decimal 2 places to the right, and we get a markup of 93%. All right, here's one last example. Here we have Lee Johnson. He sells golf shoes, and he sells them for $99.99. That's his selling price. The shoes cost him $30.36 a pair. What is the markup rate? Again, based on the cost. This one they want to the nearest 1/10 of a percent. So let's try this out. First, once again, they did not give us the markup, so we have to find it. We're going to take the price they're selling the shoes for minus the cost of the shoes, and that will give us our markup so that we can get started. That gives me $69.63. Okay, so this is our markup. Now let's find the markup rate, since that's what they wanted to know. We take the markup, again, which was $69.63. This is markup based on the cost, so we divide it by the cost to the store, which was $30.36. We go ahead and divide that. $69.63 divided by $30.36, and we get 2.293478. It goes on from there. We need to write this as a percent, so we move the decimal 2 places to the right, which gives us 229.3%. This we round off. They wanted it to the nearest 1/10 of a percent, which means one number after the decimal point. So these were marked up quite a bit. They were marked up 229.3% of their cost.